I have spoken to and have friends who are very confident people. And by hanging out with them, I have realized that all of them share these 4 common traits that make them look confident. So in today's video, I will tell you the common traits all confident people have. So the first common trait all confident people have is they don't compare themselves to others. See, look, confident people, they are so fulfilled with the things they do, their goals, their purpose, what they're working on. They're so fulfilled by that they don't really have time to compare themselves to others. And also, confident people have such high self-esteem, like they believe in themselves and they are so happy with themselves that they don't need to compare themselves to others. In my Spanish class, I had a friend who one time I was talking about an actor and I told him, dude, I wish I had that guy's acting skills. It was Leonardo DiCaprio. And he was telling me, look, Oscar, don't compare yourself to others, because remember, comparison is a killer of happiness. And the moment my friend told me that, I instantly knew this guy is definitely a confident person. He definitely has high self-esteem. So the number one trait all confident people have is they don't compare themselves to others, because they are happy with themselves. They are content with themselves, that they don't even have the need to compare themselves to others. The second trait all confident people have is they are charismatic and they are not afraid to crack jokes. See, look, confident people, they are always so happy. I mean, they are so confident in themselves. They have such high self-esteem and they don't care what others think about them. So they say whatever they want. I mean, they literally can crack any joke they want and they wouldn't care. Why? Because they have such high confidence in themselves, I had a friend in my Spanish class who I met him freshman year in high school. And when I met him, the guy would just crack jokes any single time he could. And there were times where his jokes were not funny at all, but because he had such high confidence, he didn't care at all, And that's the one trait all confident people have, is they are charismatic and they are not afraid to crack jokes. I mean, there are people in your life, I can guarantee, or people that, are very introvert and they don't really like saying stuff. And that's probably because they aren't that confident, But confident people do not care what others think, bro. They're gonna say the freaking funniest joke ever, or they're gonna say the freaking non-funniest joke ever, but they simply don't care. That's a secret. And that's why they're so confident, is because they don't care what others think about them, so they'll say whatever they freaking want, all right? So the second trait all confident people have is they crack tons of jokes and they are charismatic. The third trait all confident people have is they are very social. See, look, confident people, like I said, they have such high self-esteem that they don't really care what others think about them. And them having that mentality of not caring what others think about them ultimately helps them be social around others. I mean, if we're being honest, us human beings are social animals. So and obviously being social requires a sense of confidence. And I guarantee you, all the confident people in your life are social. I had this friend I met him freshman year of high school. He was in my history class. And I noticed that every single time we got into class, he was literally talking to the person to his right, to his left, behind him, in front of him, whatever. He was just always talking to people. And that friend I had in my class, the history class, dude, the guy was a confident person. He didn't care what anybody thought. He was just talking. He was just being confident, socializing, being funny, all that kind of stuff. So the third trait all confident people have is they are very social. Why? Because they have high self-esteem and they don't care what others think about them. Now the last trait all confident people have is they take a risk. See, look, one thing confident people get right is they don't care if they fail or not, because they understand that failure is a way to grow and become better. See, I had a drama teacher, and he was just so charismatic. He loved telling stories. He was always talking to people and stuff like that. And I noticed that he seemed like a very confident person. And one day I asked him, I was like, Mr. Michael, I was like, how do you get so good at telling stories? Because he was very good at telling stories. And he told me something that shocked me, and it was the best advice I ever gotten. And he told me, he was like, you're gonna have to fall on your ass multiple times, but the best thing you could do is just get back up again. And look at him. He's a very confident person, tells good stories, and is very charismatic. So the one trait all confident people have is they take risk. They take risks no matter what. Even if they fail, they still do it. So those are the 4 traits that all confident people have. As always, I believe in you, but God believes you more. I'll see you guys later.